Welcome back to Ferocious Education, this is Ed. Today we're going to be talking about PLTR once more. I'm going to give you here a due diligence update, as well as a bit of technical analysis and institutional interest. So let's jump right into this one. So Palantir, we talked about this one before, but just in case you're watching this one for the first time, just to put it simply, they build data fusion platforms for integrating, managing, and securing any kind of data at a massive scale. On top of these platforms, they layer applications for fully interactive, human-driven, machine-assisted analysis. Now, they do have three main parts of their technology. Palantir Gotham, which is integrating, managing, and securing data and analyzing all the data in the enterprise. Now, another one here is Palantir Foundry, amplify and extend the power of data integration, and Palantir Apollo, power of SaaS in places where SaaS has never gone before. And to give you a bit of perspective onto this one here, we did receive some latest news that appears to be brushed off by the entire market. Palantir Technologies and the Royal Navy extends contracts. And what this one comes towards is that the Royal Navy in the United Kingdom is basically extending contracts for the Palantir Foundry platform. It renewed it. The Palantir Foundry software is used by the Royal Navy across a broad spectrum of areas, from strategic workplace planning to supply chain management to the COVID-19 response. And so that does bring additional money or revenue coming into Palantir. Another one here is the US Coast Guard renews partnership with Palantir to fight COVID-19. The Coast Guard has been using Palantir software since April 2020 as a data management, analytical, and operational tools for its operations response to the pandemic. The contract renewal has a base value of $6.25 million and a potential total of $11.25 million for the 9 months. Now, Palantir's software enables centralized collaboration workspace across the country, offering real-time visibility into critical data for Coast Guard members anywhere across ranks to make informed risk-based decisions. Now, the Coast Guard will continue to use Palantir to create common operation or operating pictures and help determine resources allocations, including vaccines to best respond to the pandemic and enhance readiness. And then moving on here, we get to see that institutional interest is very interested in the stock. Now, before then, we do have a current meeting happening on June 8th, 2021. And if we were to look into more of a short interest, you get to see that is sitting lower than 5%. So it's definitely not a lot of people that are shorting the stock and holding it down. So technical analysis would be very interesting into this one. And before moving on towards institutional interest, if you'd like to see more contents like this, make sure to scroll down below, click that like button and the subscribe button. If you'd like to join our Discord, the link is in the description below, totally free. Now, institutional interest here seems to be a little bit interesting. Looking into CDC, for instance, they did go with calls, and around almost 761,000 shares being added on there. Now, BlackRock, for instance, has decreased their position by around 72%, down to $9.4 million. Now, you look into Cypress Point Wealth Management, increased their position by almost 7,800% to 2.5 million shares. And sorry, before that for BlackRock was 9.4 million shares, not dollars. Now the next one as well here, you're getting to see at other ones like Valley National, Swell Financials, etc., adding thousands of shares, although they all sum up lower than 100,000 shares. And you're looking later on as well into just the month of May, you're already seeing good amount of transactions. I would say probably more than 50 or around 50 transactions only in the month of May. This is all just the month of May. So it definitely is starting to look very interesting that institutions are picking this one. BlackRock liquidated a bit of it, C-Town Holdings, etc. So it's kind of a little bit of a mixed stance that both of them are looking at it and saying, we like this stock, but at the same time, there might be some risk that they're trying to avoid and selling it off because they want to get it cheaper, etc. So let's move on now towards technical analysis to get a bit of a perspective into what price points are the most dangerous or most impactful to look for. Now, on the technical analysis perspective, things are starting to look very interesting here. So the 10 SMA is above the 30 EMA, which is a very bullish indicator, although the price point is below the 50 SMA, which is a bearish indicator in that sense. The current 80X is sitting at 16 1867, and so it doesn't really signify a trend, but it's starting to get a little bit of momentum. But that's a bad thing because we're seeing a negative trend in this sense. And William% R has been highly oversold, which means a correction theoretically would bring more buyers in. Now at MACD here, you're seeing a negative reversal that took place somewhere around the 3rd of May, and momentum is incredibly negative at negative 2.88. Now don't lose hope yet, we're still looking forward. So the moving average bands here, you're expecting to trade this one at 24.96 on the top, 22.69 in the middle, and 20.42 in the bottom. Although the Bollinger Bands are sitting at 20.03 in the bottom and 25.36 at the top. And what we're seeing here is that it's kind of breaking down below that Bollinger Bands, and well, we might actually look into this and see, well, if it's breaking through the Bollinger Bands, usually what happens is one of two things. It's either bounces off strongly, which we're not seeing that, or the Bollinger Bands continue to expand downwards, which is more off what's happening in this level. Now, it's very important to know when the next supports and resistances are, and that's the next purpose what we're doing after this chart. So over here, we're looking into stochastic fast and stochastic slow. What we're seeing is this is almost like a cyclical level, where you're seeing where it drops at the bottom, somewhere around here, it jumps back up. However, we did draw this one before, this block spot, and we saw that this is an actual strong support level. If it does drop below there and breaks that chart, the box, we might be in trouble. And we see it actually had 2 days below that box, and this is why I'm doing this update. Now another thing here is to try to understand where the significant supports and resistances lie, because that's where you start looking at significant points that you might be interested in. So if we were to go 45 at the top for the Fibonacci retracements, and then diving all the way down to somewhere around 890. You're looking into this one here and you're seeing that the significant Fibonacci retracement support is at 1744. Below there, 892. Significant resistances, 2272, 2698, 3124. Above there, 3731 and 4504. Now on a price line action, we're starting to see that this has a very strong support coming on next, sitting at 1810. Below there, you're looking at 1592. Below there, 1451, and below there, a very strong one at 1115, and then following that, 992, 904. Now, not to say that there's no current support very much closer to it. Yes, there is at 1851, but not as strong as the other ones. Now, significant resistances, where things get a little bit more interesting, is that there is a very strong resistance at the 2074. Above there, 2151. Above there, 2245. Above there, another strong one at 2451, jumping upwards to 2721, and then up to 2945, going up to 3116, and then we start hitting around closer to the 35 levels, and then up to $40 or 38.22. And it comes to the question to Ed, what do you think actually is going to happen here? Now, I think that it is very possible for it to start testing that 1921 support, following that 1780, and then following that 1592, 1451. And in any of these levels, I probably would be expecting some kind of spike. Now, a big part of this one here is that they're seeing bigger names like BlackRock ditching this one. Institution isn't fully bullish nor bearish onto this one, and at some point here, there might be a little bit of hesitancy coming in from the market. Now, it's definitely not an evil short hedge fund that is trying to bring this one to its knees. It looks like it might be a little bit of longer investors that are a little bit skeptical about their fundamentals. And so the only thing that would actually prevail here is time. And you would think that perhaps after a longer period of time, what you might actually see is a stronger interest into this one at a cheaper price. And I think that's what everyone is looking. Buyers are saying, hey, it's actually been dropping for a good amount of time. I want to get it at a cheaper level. And people who are selling are perhaps seeing, hey, it's going to drop even more. I want to sell. And at some level, it's going to be too cheap to pass and the price would jump back up. The question is what level it is. And I think in the shorter term, it will continue to slide down until that critical support level, that any of the ones I mentioned, and then it will bounce back up, and then will accumulate until perhaps in the next couple of years or so, you probably will see a good return on investment onto this one. What do you think about the sticker? Thanks for mentioning down in the comments below. Share, subscribe, and like, and have a wonderful day. Now, if you made it this far into the video, I do recommend that you go ahead and join our Discord server. There's a lot of amazing folks in here. We do a lot of discussions here into the trading floor throughout the day. A lot of people are in there, and we do ask questions. You can ask me any question you would like on there. We do post research and DDs, and we hold weekly chat sessions. And we also do have a lounge in there. So make sure to actually join that and join the fun there. Have a wonderful day and a good one.